Good evening, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. The critics of the previous Pakatan Harapan government often accused DAP of being puppet masters in the coalition. In an interview with Malaysia Kini recently, Dr. Mahathir rubbished the notion that he was controlled by DAP.
Ini tak benar sama sekali. Ialah DAP ada dalam kerajaan dan dia jadi ketua Menteri Keuangan. Dia kontrol wang, tetapi dia tak kontrol wang sepenuhnya. Saya kontrol. Kalau dia nak buat bajet pun, dia kena dulu bajet dibuat oleh Menteri Keuangan. Perdana Menteri tak ada peranan. Kali ini dia buat bajet, saya suruh dia serah draft bajet kepada saya. Dan saya kaji dan saya puas hati baru kita kemukakan ke bajet itu kepada Parlimen. Banyak lagi yang dia buat, semuanya setelah runding dengan saya. Dia tak boleh bawa perkara ke dalam kabinet sebelum saya berperhatikan sama ada sesuai ataupun tidak. Banyak cadangan-cadangan dia, walaupun saya kata boleh bawa ke dalam kabinet, kabinet tolak. Umpamanya dia nak buat get rid of toll free, tak boleh buat. Kerja ini kabinet tak bersetuju. Dia buat cadangan nak finance from the government pun kabinet tak bersetuju. Dia nak ambil plus pun kabinet tak bersetuju. Macam mana nak kata dia berkuasa? Dia tak ada kuasa. DAP dengan banyak ahli dalam dewan, tapi dalam kabinet sama saja dengan bersatu. Dan Parti Keadilan yang dapat 7 members, Parti Warisan yang bukan Pakatan Harapan, dia bukan dalam Pakatan. Parti Warisan daripada Sabah pun kita bagi 3 kursi, 3 menteri. Jadi semua ini bukan orang yang bisu, dia orang ambil bahagian. Dan saya dalam kabinet ialah saya mempengurusi kabinet. Saya bagi peluang kepada semua orang bercakap. Suka, okey, kita terima. Kalau tak suka, kadang-kadang perkara itu penting. Kita ada mesyuarat kabinet pada hari cuti untuk deal dengan special issues. Jadi nak kata DAP kuasa, tak ada. Dia adalah benar-benar yang dia ambil bahagian. Tetapi dia juga terpaksa timbang rasa keperasaan orang Melayu. Umpamanya Kelantan hampir bankrupt. Nak bayar gaji pun tak boleh. Wan Eng yang cadang supaya Kelantan diberi secara sekali one off 400 million. Terengganu kita bagi 200 million. These two bukan Pakatan Harapan yang country. It's not Pakatan Harapan. Dia orang opposition, tapi dia negeri Melayu. Dia tahu masalah banyak di Kelantan dan Terengganu. Kedah pun dia bagi juga. Jadi to say that DAP controls me, I think you're insulting me. To say that DAP can control me. Please remember that this country is controlled by Malays, to the point where even the communists were defeated by a Malay-based government.
Syed Saddiq has responded to criticism from Dr. Mahathir Mohamad that plans for a new youth party will further divide votes.
More MP Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman has brushed off criticisms from his former mentor, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, over his plans for a new youth-centric political party. Syed Saddiq said his job was not to just unite the Malays, but to unite all Malaysians. Meant in Kota Kinabalu yesterday, he said that he had great respect for Mahathir, but firmly believes that diversity in Malaysia is our strength. He added that the new party would be youth-led and not be youth-exclusive. And at the same time, it would be for all Malaysians. It would fight for the underprivileged and poor and be policy-centered. He said this in response to a question on Mahathir's remarks on his idea for a youth-centric party in an interview with Malaysia Kini last week. Dr. Mahathir had said that the plan by Syed Saddiq would only further divide the support of voters, especially among the Malays. Syed Saddiq's new party is still in the works, and he is currently touring Sabah to meet youth groups and campaign for the Warisan Plus coalition.
PKR has challenged Muhyiddin Yassin to reveal whether Perikatan Nasional registered with the Registrar of Societies before they fielded candidates on nomination day for the Sabah state polls.
PKR has questioned if Perikatan Nasional was registered with the Registrar of Societies when it fielded 29 candidates during the nomination day of the Sabah election on September 12. In a statement today, PKR Information Chief Shamsul Iskandar challenged PN Chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin to show to the public evidence of the registration approval that is officially issued by the ROS. This came after PKR Youth Vice Chief Syed Badli Shah Syed Osman complained that a search of the ROS database as of September 14 did not show any registration for PN. Shamsul said if PN is not officially registered, the Election Commission should disqualify all the candidates contesting under the PN ticket. He said voters should choose from among parties that are legally registered, and that if candidates from an illegal organization were allowed to contest, it would be an insult to the democratic parliamentary system in Malaysia, as well as for the people, especially in Sabah. PN debuted its logo carrying the words Perikatan Nasional with a dark blue background in the Sabah election. They are allied with BN and PBS, who are both using their own logo. The coalition of these parties in Sabah is known as Gabungan Rakyat Sabah. PN is contesting 29 seats in the state, with BN contesting 41 seats and PBS 22. However, they'll be clashing in 17 out of the 73 seats.
Clashes in seats among allies is a new political norm, according to Sabah BN Chairperson Bung Mokhtar Radin.
Sabah BN Chairperson Bun Mokhtar Radin has described the clash of candidates from Perikatan Nasional and its allies, BN and Parti Bersatu Sabah, in 17 seats in the state election as a new norm. He told reporters after campaigning in Bukit Garam in Kinabatangan, Sabah yesterday that it was a new political norm to ensure victory for them to form a new state government. Although several leaders from the parties had expressed their unhappiness over the decision, the clashes could not be avoided, as almost all of them felt that they had strong support from the grassroots. Perikatan Nasional, BN and PBS will clash in 17 out of the 73 seats up for grabs, mainly in constituencies located in the interior, central and northern parts of Sabah. On nomination day, clashes between Perikatan Nasional, BN and PBS in the Sabah polls intensified after BN and PBS broke the negotiated agreement and fielded more candidates than originally announced. PBS, which promised to field 15 candidates, ended up fielding 22 contenders, while BN, which promised to field 40 candidates, ended up fielding 41. Even before this, the allies who refer to themselves as Gabungan Rakyat Sabah were set to clash in 11 seats under their initial agreement.
The number of active cases in the country is now at 615. Here's the latest COVID-19 situation.
Malaysia recorded 31 new cases of COVID-19 today. 28 were local cases and 3 were imported. The imported cases were all from Indonesia, involving 2 Malaysians and 1 foreigner. In a statement today, Health Ministry Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said that out of the 28 local cases, 19 involved Malaysians and 9 were foreigners. He said, from the local cases, 23 were detected in Sabah, of which 17 were attributed to the Benteng LD cluster that is centered on detention facilities in Lahad Datu and Tawau. The 5 other cases in Sabah appear to be sporadic cases. 1 case was detected through screening at the Meratai Health Clinic in Tawau, 1 from a referral screening at Tawau Hospital, 1 from the screening of patients with severe acute respiratory infection at the Lahad Datu Hospital, and 1 case through pre-surgery screening at Queen Hospital in Kudat. 1 case was also detected through screening of detainees at the Kudat District Police Headquarters. Of the remaining local cases, 4 were from the Bungang cluster in Negeri Sembilan, involving crew members of a ship docked at Port Dickson, and one local case was detected in Kedah and is attributed to the Sungai cluster. 11 patients are being treated in intensive care units, with 5 patients requiring ventilator support.
Coming up next, tens of thousands of protesters in Belarus defied a warning from the military on Sunday and flooded into Minsk. Belarus saw one of its biggest demonstrations yet on Sunday against President Alexander Lukashenko after he claimed a landslide victory in an election his opponents say was rigged.
Around 100,000 Belarusian protesters took to the street of Minsk on Sunday, demanding President Alexander Lukashenko to step down. This was the latest in a series of protests against him after he claimed a landslide victory in an election on August 9, which his opponents say was rigged. Moscow has offered him support by saying it would send paratroopers to Belarus for Slavic Brotherhood joint drills. Protesters marched through the capital Minsk towards a government district on Sunday, chanting "Long live Belarus" and "You're a rat," a taunt that has frequently been used against Lukashenko during demonstrations. They came to a halt and chanted fascist as hundreds of riot police with shields blocked off the road. The atmosphere was tense with a large police presence in parts of the capital, and some central areas were sealed off with barbed wires. Police said they had detained over 400 people in Minsk alone. The unrest comes as Lukashenko prepares to travel to Russia on Monday for talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Lukashenko, who has been in power since 1994, still denies electoral fraud, and he has rejected calls for new elections.
Search and rescue operations resumed on Sunday as wildfires continue to ravage U.S. Pacific Coast states.
Search and rescue personnel resumed their search for the dead on Sunday among ruins left by massive wildfires raging in 3 western U.S. states. Crews using dogs combed through a charred neighborhood in Phoenix, Oregon. Drone footage showed burnt-out vehicles and the remains of homes in residential areas. As of Sunday morning, there were 35 active fires burning in Oregon, and at least 10 people have been killed in the state. Oregon Governor Kate Brown said that dozens of people were still missing across 3 counties. In California, evacuations were ordered for some areas as wildfire threatened communities. Nearly 17,000 firefighters were battling 29 fires in the state on Sunday. In Washington state, fires burning around Seattle transformed the skyline into a hazy orange tint from the smoke. The thick smoky haze had even settled over Vancouver, Canada, where the Wildfire Service said much of southern British Columbia is also at a high risk for wildfires. The smoke and ash from the fires had created some of the world's worst air quality levels and has driven residents indoors. The series of wildfires across Oregon, California, and Washington has destroyed thousands of homes and half a dozen small towns this summer, scorching more than 4 million acres of land and killing more than 24 people since early August.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll be back with more tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.